So you remember anything from yesterday? Let's do a quick revision. So we started with Plato, and Plato had a problem regarding two concepts. What was? All change and no change or permanence, Heraclitus and Parmenides. And he said both of them are right. Why? Because there are two worlds according to Plato. World of experience or physical things, or world of change, world of temporary things, world of transient things, world of mortality, world of space and time. Anything we can write. Another was world of ideas, world of universal, world of forms. This world is eternal, transcendental, not changeable, not perishable, permanent, etc. and etc. We can write any number of terms, as good your English is. Simply. So now he has created what? Two world theory or dichotomy of worlds created by Plato. And in this, the important term is idea. Now we have understood what the idea is. What exactly do we connotate when we say idea? Essence of a object or a particular class of things. A particular class means all cows must have the essence of or idea cowness. Yes. And this idea is also, okay, let us quickly revise. Characteristics of idea. Tell me. Starting from here. एक एक सबको देखना है ना सब. One. Unitary. Okay. Next. एक एक बच्चा. Perfect. Eternal. Okay. Next. Beyond space and time. Okay. Next. Pure and simple. Next. ये लाइन नहीं पता क्या आप लोगों को? देखो ऐसे चलेगी. हो स्कूल के बच्चे ऐसे फिर ऐसे फिर ऐसे. ठीक है. हाँ. Immutable. Rational. Very right. Rational. Next. Universal. Absolute. Beyond space and time हो गया. Next. Objective presence. Okay. Objective reality. Next. Imperishable. Non-sensible. You cannot sense them. How then you can know it? Known by reason. Okay. What else? Immortal. Non-composite. Etc. and etc. We can do that now. So we have understood what exactly is an idea. So if the question comes, what is the idea of Plato? We can write n number of points and even explain them if required. Okay. Now when we come back, this world of idea and this world of experience, there must be a relation between the two. And to explain this relation between the world of ideas and the world of experience, Plato has given three theories. Which were they? Copy theory. Copy theory means that ideas are molds and things are copies of these molds. Another theory, participation theory. What was it? There is this idea and things participate in their ideas to get those qualities. Okay. Another, expression theory. Expression theory says that ideas get expressed as things. So it is like real plus shadow. Shadow, it's getting reflected there. We can also have a reflection theory. The real thing is the idea. It is getting reflected in thing. So all of these theories, why did he give? To explain the relation between world of ideas with the world of experience. How are they related? So it is like a world of idea is more real, because reality lies there only, it is only permanent, it is only eternal and all these things. So the world of idea is absolutely real for Plato, and the world of experience is what for Plato? Imaginary, illusionary, nearly unreal. It is like unreal, illusion, no, not myth, illusion. But is it absolutely unreal? Not absolutely unreal. And somebody asked Plato, is it absolutely unreal? Then he got, no, not absolutely unreal. But it is as real as it participates in world of idea. As much as it is the expression of the world of ideas, as much as it copies the world of ideas, it is real only to that extent, only to a limited extent to which it is connected to the world of ideas. This world is real, but rest it is unreal. Rest it is only an illusion, absolutely illusory. All the other things except the portion where it is participating in its world of ideas. समझ में आ गई बात? वॉल्यूम, ओहो ये तो बड़ा बेसिक समझ लेगा, कोई डाउट होगा? वॉल्यूम बढ़ा दो. Is it audible now? Audible? Last man standing, sitting. Okay. Now, how are these ideas related to each other? There must be some relation between these ideas also, or else it will become innumerable, infinite number of ideas unrelated to each other. No, they are related to each other. Example, supposedly, let's take this example of white table. So this is white table. So it must have an idea of whiteness, and it must also have an idea of tableness. Now, firstly, one item can participate in many ideas. Like you are, what is your name? Arun. So you are a man, manness. You are also being, beingness. You are also a son, sunness. You are also a student, studentness. So you can participate in any number of ideas. So this means we as individual things participate in many, many ideas. This is how things are made up. Second, this whiteness and this stableness, if we go a little higher, this stableness must come under a category known as furnitureness, isn't it? And under it tableness के साथ और क्या आएगा? Chairness, sofaness, bedness, जो भी. All of this will come under this category of furnitureness. And under this whiteness, colorness. And other colors will also come, red, etc., in this overall category. Now, can we say all of these will come under the category of thingness? Then there is another category, thingness. So this means all of these ideas are connected, lowest being the most specific As you become less specific, more broad based, less specific, more broad based, you move upwards, and thingness will include nearly everything, beingness will include nearly all of us beings, and according to Plato, at the highest end, at the top, is the idea of good. Everything, it will encompass everything, and at the apex, at the top, चोटी पे कौन है? Idea of good. Now what is idea of good? According to him, idea of good is perfect. Anything becomes useful only if it is good, according to. So he has given real immense importance to this idea of good. जैसे this pen you are holding, why are you using it? To write, because you feel it is good and useful to you. If supposedly there is no ink, what will you do? Throw it. This means anything becomes useful and good, it continues. If something becomes unimportant, not good, vestigial organs, slowly and steadily, the nature itself is discarding them. Slowly and steadily it is being discarded. According to Plato, the highest value lies in the idea of good, and everything is moving towards idea of good. Like us, right now we don't know our purpose. Well, I know, many of you don't know your purpose. So when you don't know your purpose, you are not actually moving according to Plato. But in whatever sense you are moving, you want to be more good. You want your situation to be better than today. Whatever you are doing is for what? Towards making something good out of your life. Good relationships, good profession, good friendships, good this, good that, good person. Ultimately, everybody is striving towards what? Goodness. Every system is striving towards what? Goodness. Better democracy, better economy, better company, better. Everything is striving towards that. So according to Plato, the highest idea is the idea of good, to which everything is related. Everything finds its meaning with its association with idea of good. It's like anything will be more valuable if it is good. If it is not good, it will be discarded. So we must all strive to be, we are striving, but we must all, deliberately strive to be more good according to Plato. But how can we know this idea of good? Is there any means? We can see, we can still through reason find this furniture, colorness, thingness. This idea of good can also be found through reason, but it is the highest kind of knowledge, highest. And this knowledge is not available to normal people. You must have that control over yourself. You must have that thinking ability to understand the concept of idea of good. Example, if somebody has not eaten a rasgulla ever, never, उन्होंने कभी रसगुल्ला खाया ही नहीं है, never ever they have eaten a rasgulla. You all know rasgulla? Yes. किसी को रसगुल्ले में तो confusion नहीं है? पक्का? रसगुल्ला पता है ना? Okay. So, if there is a person who has never eaten a rasgulla and suddenly that person is given a rasgulla and nobody of you, rather none of you has eaten a rasgulla, किसी को नहीं पता रसगुल्ला क्या है ना? और इन्होंने रसगुल्ला खा लिया, अरुण ने, है ना? अब इन्होंने रसगुल्ला खाया. Now he wants to tell you something about रसगुल्ला and he is saying, बताओ क्या बताओगे रसगुल्ले के बारे में? Very sweet. समझ में आया कुछ? Very sweet. Sweet क्या क्या हो सकता है? Biscuits are sweet, chocolates are sweet, jalebi is sweet, हाँ? Tasty. Describe more. Tell them what is rasgulla. Spongy. Rasmalai is spongy. Dipped in sugar syrup. Jalebi is dipped in sugar syrup. Balushai is dipped in sugar syrup. Circle shaped. Oh, gulab jamun is circle shaped. Laddu is circle shaped. White color. Kalakand. So many mithai made up of white color. And just give them the taste of it. Can you transfer the taste? Can they know what exactly is rasgulla? Can all of you know by his description? Similar is the idea of good. We can tell you that it is the highest, it is the best, perfect thing, but it can only be realized. It can only be realized means only someone who has been there can actually experience it. It cannot be described through words, because whatever words you are using only from the limited knowledge that you have gained from sense experience. But this is not a knowledge which can be gained through sense experience. So this is something which can only be realized. If you realize it, then you know it. Something like the what do you say, Atma Sakshatkar of Indian philosophy. Rishis, you must have seen, na? अब एक ऋषि थे, उन्होंने कहा कि भाई you know, I went by, I did meditation for 20 years and I met God, है ना? I met the supreme creator of this world. And now you are asking कैसे थे है ना, कैसे दिखते थे भगवान जी? उन्होंने वैसे ही वो मुकुट पहना था क्या? Now they are saying no, it was all very beautiful. और बताओ, it was very glowy, there was peace, but can you understand that what he experienced? You cannot experience that. You will have to be there to experience and understand. Similar is the idea of good. We have to be there to experience and understand. But definitely the vague definition that we have of rasgulla, similar definition we can give of idea of good, that it is at the apex, it is perfect. Of course, all the characteristics of ideas are definitely the characteristics of goodness, and it is the reason for which everything is moving and everything is striving towards what? Idea of good. It is something like liberation of Indian philosophy. अब मैं बोलूंगी मोक्ष, सबको समझ में आ जाएगा, है ना? यही है इंडियन फिलोसफी, इसीलिए लोगों को लगता है इंडियन फिलोसफी बहुत बढ़िया है, क्योंकि बचपन से सुनी. So this is idea of good in Plato's theory. Can you understand that? Okay. So there is a hierarchy of ideas where lower ideas merge with the overall higher ideas, and in this hierarchy at the top is idea of good. Can you describe idea of good? It is indescribable. It cannot be described. It can only be realized. And to describe, if we really want to describe, then we can only describe it in the terms of not this, not this, not this, not this. मतलब not a rasgulla, not a jalebi, not a kalakand, not a balushahi, not a laddu. यही बता सकते हो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा, या कुछ common characteristics. You cannot actually describe it perfectly. Idea of good समझ में आ गया? अब हम करेंगे एक बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग चीज, इसका नाम है केव एनालॉजी. और रेदर केव एनालॉजी से पहले हम एक बार थ्योरी ऑफ नॉलेज भी कर लेते हैं. इसको और क्या बोलते हैं? एपिस्टेमोलॉजी. थ्योरी ऑफ नॉलेज मीन्स, नोट्स में लिखा था हमने, it is the theory of knowledge which tells us how do we know the reality, what are the sources, limitations, validity of knowing reality. Okay. So according to Plato, there are 4 kinds of knowledge. This is A and B. In your notes, you have got your notes? Open. Open to page number 'After this cave analogy, the next page, where you can see this divided line, theory of divided line. Can you see this? Yes. If you want to write anything, you can write in this diagram only. Hai na? You don't have to do it again and again. This complete is the world of ideas. Below this is the world of experience or physical things. The lowest knowledge is the knowledge of illusion. Illusions through which we get what? Images. Illusions are like dreams. Example, can you dream about an apple? Can you dream about a lion? So, can you watch it on a phone? Lion. Have you watched Discovery Channel? But it was illusion, no? Was it a real lion you were seeing? No. डर नहीं लगा ना? मजा आ रहा था बैठ के टीवी पे सोफे पे देख रहे थे. So it was only a illusory knowledge, or we can say dreams or just images. So what kind of knowledge it is? The lowest kind. The lowest level of knowledge is illusory knowledge, or the one in dreams, or the one which you get through images. This is the lowest level. Above it comes opinion or beliefs about physical things. What are physical things? So this was an image of apple. Image of apple. This is real apple. You get the knowledge about real apple through sensations. The 5 sensations that we have, like, can you touch an apple? Taste, see, oh, hear, मतलब can you hear the crunch when you eat it? है ना? और क्या रह गया? Smell, can you smell it? So through your 5 senses, you know that this is the apple. But according to Plato, is this apple actually real? It is only a copy of the real appleness which resides in world of ideas. This is only an impression or shadow of the real apple. So this, or rather real नहीं लिखते, so सिर्फ apple लिख लेते हैं हम, ठीक है? Apple. Third क्या है? Hypothetical knowledge or maths, which is found in maths, like 1 apple plus 1 apple is equal to 2 apples. This 1, 2 are what? Hypothetical knowledge. Wherever you go, there can be difference in apple. Kashmiri apple, Kunnoor apple, है ना, Australian apple. Here it can be different. There can be different apples. White apple, green apple, red apple, pink apple. Green apple भी होता है, पता है ना? You all know? So there can be different apples. But can there be a difference between this calculation? 1 apple plus 1 apple will always be 2 apples. Always be. America, Africa, everywhere it will be same. This calculation will never change. So isn't this knowledge a little more stable? More stable? And above it will be the knowledge of ideas. This is the transcendental knowledge or rational insight. This is the knowledge of appleness. This is the knowledge of appleness. Appleness is the permanent, eternal, unchanging, non-perishable knowledge about apple. So when you see apple in dreams, it can change. Does it have any importance and value? सपने में मैंने आपको 2 किलो एप्पल दिए, आपने कहा कहाँ है? नहीं मैंने असलियत में, in reality, है ना, in this physical world, I gave you 2 kgs of apple. You ate it, you were satisfied, but still you don't know what exactly is apple. You don't know, according to Plato. But the knowledge that there were 2 kgs, that is hypothetical knowledge, and you can know it, and it's permanent. But if you try reason, if you move beyond experience and try to think about real apple, then you will reach where? Appleness. And this knowledge of appleness is permanent. It won't change. Even when those apples are finished, you have eaten those apples, will this knowledge change? It will remain permanent. So according to Plato, what kind of knowledge should be called actually genuine knowledge? The one which changes or one which is permanent? The one which is permanent, which doesn't change. So in essence, what is the genuine knowledge according to Plato? Knowledge of ideas. According to Plato, this line, this area is very short. अब इसमें दिख नहीं रहा है ना? Because, but ये बहुत ऊपर तक जाता है. This means A, B, C, D, E. So A to C is much larger than C to E. Why? According to Plato, this world is very limited. We know very less about it. But in essence, the world of ideas and the mathematical knowledge is vast, infinitely vast, very vast. So in actuality, we are living in a very limited knowledge and a very limited world, and living happily in the belief that world itna sahi to hai. But the moment you try to think, you try to reason, you realize that there is this world of ideas which are huge. Example. अब आप लोगों को साइंस से समझ में आएगी ये बात. बेचारे प्लेटो कहेंगे तो कोई नहीं मानेगा, फिर एक साइंटिस्ट कहेगा तो मानेंगे सब. हाँ, this earth is a small part of solar system. How many solar systems are there? Infinite, many. And many solar systems are part of one galaxy. How many galaxies? And how much do you know? In this earth, छोड़ो galaxies तो बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया आप लोगों के लिए, है ना? How much do you know in this world? चलो बाहर का भी छोड़ो, वर्ल्ड भी बहुत बड़ा हो गया, अर्थ भी बहुत बड़ी हो गई, है ना? How much you know about India? How much have you seen, tasted, experienced? Very limited. India भी छोड़ो, Delhi भी छोड़ो, राजेंद्र नगर, very limited, very limited. So this world of experience according to Plato is very limited. The real world is the world of ideas, and the moment you enter it, you realize its vastness. You realize that things are really different there. So this was his theory of knowledge. So as a philosopher, what kind of knowledge should I find best? Should I know that this is the best knowledge for me? Knowledge of ideas. And how do we reach knowledge of ideas? By reason and rational insight. And the reason starts where the experience ends. Till the time we are just experiencing, we cannot reason. It is something like, we can understand it with an example. The people who don't have eyes, they can hear a lot of things which normal people like us cannot, isn't it? Because they have developed that additional ability. Similarly, people like us who are only relying on experience, they cannot actually reason in that manner. But once we move beyond our experience, we start thinking, rationalizing, we start to know this knowledge. That is the genuine knowledge of ideas. Okay. This also proves his metaphysics. How does it prove it, Plato's metaphysics? Tell me. Experiential world, changeable. Images changeable. Changeable ना? आज रेड एप्पल का सपना आया, अगले दिन ग्रीन एप्पल का आ गया. Different apples can be there. Physical things, changeable. I gave you 2 kgs of apple. You ate only 1 apple and kept the rest. After 1 month, you said, chalo, let's have another apple. Will it be there? Changed? Gone? Rotten? But will the number change? This is permanent. Will the appleness change? Genuine knowledge, metaphysics. And this appleness, isn't it eternal, permanent, unique, etc., etc., all the things that we wrote about ideas, is it applicable here to appleness? Yes. So this is his theory of knowledge. Directly question आता है, यही diagram बनाना है, यही लिखना है. Now we will understand it through cave analogy. देखो cave analogy पढ़ने के बाद, when we read cave analogy, lot of people start realizing how limited they are. If anybody of you goes into shock, it's okay. No problem. Yes, we are very limited. So the story starts that there is a, and first nobody will criticize my drawing skills, howsoever good and bad they are. So there is a wall, and there are many people who have been bound from their childhood. From their childhood, they have been bound through their necks, hands and legs. मतलब क्या है? इन लोगों को पैरों से, हाथों से और गले से बांध रखा है बचपन से. They can never rotate their heads. They can move a little bit within their own boundaries, but they cannot, open their bondages. Behind their backs, there is a platform, and there on behind this platform is a fire, and from this platform, a lot of people keep going, talking to each other. Somebody is on horse, somebody is on, somebody is carrying some bag or doing something or the something. Now, tell me, what will these people see? What will these people see? So these people are looking at the shadows of these people who are going, and they can hear muffled voices. Muffled voices means, because it's a cave, this completely thing is happening in a cave. This is a cave. So in this cave, these people are bound from childhood. They cannot move. They have, since their birth, they have seen only shadows. Shadows of what? People going through this platform, because there is a fire behind, they will see shadows, and they are hearing what? Muffled voices. Muffled voices means जैसे आवाज गूंजती है ना, echo होता है cave में. Similarly, they are hearing when these people are talking, they are hearing. And according to these people, what is reality? They have since birth, they have seen only shadows. So according to them, shadows is the reality, ultimate reality. And they have given names to it. You know, this is the shadow of man. This is the shadow of woman. This is the shadow of father. This is the shadow of table. This is the shadow of anything and everything, dog. And we are happy when we see a shadow of dog. We say, oh, dog is barking. They are hearing the muffled bark. Dog is barking. And they are very loyal people. And they are so engrossed in discussing among themselves about this world of shadow. They are discussing these shadows. Oh, look, this shadow is so bad. This shadow has done this. They don't know the shadow, rather. वो तो क्या बात कर रहे हैं? उसने मेरे साथ ऐसा कर दिया, right ना? उसने मेरे को cheating कर ली. बताओ, I loved her so much, she left. Or I loved him so much, he left. I gave 4 attempts. We are so these people are so busy with discussing about shadows, and they are so emotional and engrossed, because according to them these shadows are real, because they know only that, only and only that they know. And people die, new people come up, and they discuss again and again, and people tell them that these few shadows make up a political system, few shadows make up a religious system, and now 2-3 religions are fighting, and these people are fighting among themselves. Why? These are my shadows, these are our shadows, and they are fighting, and they fight as if it is very real, because according to them the reality is shadows. One day this smart person, he felt uneasy, he wanted to know more. He was a kind of a philosopher. He wanted to know that maybe there is something more about it, and because of his uneasiness he moved, and suddenly he could take off his chains, take off his foundations. Then this man goes out of this cave into the real world. And in the real world we have sun, we have animals, trees, people, etc., etc. So when this man goes out, he has always been in the darkness of cave. Suddenly he gets what? Blinded by the light of sun. He cannot see anything. It is very painful. कभी ऐसा देखा है? हुआ है ना? अंधेरे से एकदम गए तो कैसे लगता है? एकदम uneasy. So he's blinded. He can't see anything, and he feels like, oh, something is wrong, something is wrong. But after some time his eyes adjust, and when his eyes adjust, what he sees? He sees the world. Then he sees, oh, this is a woman, this is a male, this is how trees look. So trees don't look grey. How do they look? Bark is brown and the color is green. The color of fruit in it is red. He for the first time start seeing the color. And now this man is amazed, really amazed. Wow, this is the beauty. He goes, then he talks to a real person, then he sees the real person for a first time with the whole, in the light you can see their skin texture, skin color, you can see what their real movements are, and you can talk to them, and the sound is Clear? It's very clear, it's not muffled. And when he sees this, he realizes that he has been in the cave for a really long time. And the world he considered as real was actually a cave. But do these people know they are in cave? They are not. According to them, this is the world. He knows now that the real world is different and really beautiful. And the only thing we were thinking as real were shadows. And now when he sees this real world, he wants to come back to tell his friends that, let us, you also free yourself, see the real world. Why are you sitting in cave? So he goes back to help. Now he goes back and tells his friends, oh, this is not the real world. We are sitting in cave since birth. That is why we think these shadows are real. But the real world is outside. And that real world is beautiful. And what is he talking about? है ना? Other prisoners are like, पागल हो गए क्या? What is he talking about? यार, मैं बता रहा हूँ. है ना? What I am talking, I have seen it. I went out, I saw. He's gone mad. है ना? Before he corrupts the mind of youth, before he influences more people with his madness, let us. So will these people become convinced? According to them, shadows are real. And this man who went out and came back for his friends, he is being termed as mad. He is being harassed, beaten, and maybe killed. Now tell me, what do you take from this story? What are the symbols? Who are these prisoners? We. What are these chains? Senses. We are chained by our senses. We cannot move beyond what we see. The moment you say, दिख नहीं रहा लेकिन है, people will be like, जब दिख नहीं रहा तो कैसे? लेकिन साइंस ने बोला माइक्रोवेव से, हमने मान लिया, है ना? माना कि नहीं माना? Can you see microwaves? Infrared rays? No? Electric current? But you accepted them, ना? वो तो चलो साइंस ने बता दिया. प्लेटो भी यही बता रहा है. That there are things beyond our senses, but we are bound by our senses. And because we are bound by our senses, we cannot move. Okay. What are we seeing? Shadows. Shadows are what? Things and beings of this world. So, this table is according to Plato, what is this wall? Physical world? Physical world? A cave? Walls of physical world? Okay. What is this fire? What is this fire? No, it's the kind of the present sun we see. Present sun in the sense we see things through the light of, yes, we can say that. And who is this man who went out? Nine. Huh? Philosopher. And what are these? Animal, trees, people. Ideas. This is the world of ideas. What is the sun? Idea of good. Just as sun nourishes everything, the idea of good nourishes Everything or every idea. समझ में आया केव एनालॉजी? Can you link it to the metaphysics of Plato? अच्छा, let us see a short movie, है ना सूरज? YouTube. मेरे डायग्राम समझ ना आए तो यू नो इट्स बेटर. किसका? हाँ हाँ पूछते रहो बेटा, मैं अभी बताती हूँ. कौन सा वाला देखें? ये वाला देख लेते हैं, ठीक लग रहा है. इसमें स्टोरी टाइप्स नहीं है, ये वाला देखते हैं. कौन सी? ये वाली ब्लूइश? वो उतनी अच्छी नहीं होगी यार, वो बड़ी वैसी सी लग रही है. चलो टेडेक्स की है, ले लेते हैं. खुश रहो तुम लोग. आवाज तेज हो जाएगी. आ रही है आवाज? यार आवाज तो आई नहीं रही. इतनी आवाज है. मेन स्क्रीन पे है वॉल्यूम. यार तुम लोगों से ज्यादा टेक्निकल तो मुझे लग रहा है स्टूडेंट्स हैं. हाँ कर दिया.
In Book 7 of the Republic, in which the Greek philosopher envisioned
Are
an
you?
ideal society by examining concepts like justice, truth, and beauty. In the allegory, a group of prisoners have been confined in a cavern since birth, with no knowledge of the outside world. They are chained facing a wall, unable to turn their heads, while a fire behind them gives off a faint light. Occasionally, people pass by the fire, carrying figures of animals and other objects that cast shadows on the wall. The prisoners name and classify these illusions, believing they're perceiving actual entities. Suddenly, one prisoner is freed and brought outside for the first time. The sunlight hurts his eyes, and he finds the new environment disorienting. When told that the things around him are real, while the shadows were mere reflections, he cannot believe it. The shadows appeared much clearer to him, but gradually his eyes adjust until he can look at reflections in the water, at objects directly, and finally at the sun, whose light is the ultimate source
Idea of?
everything he has seen.
Good.
The prisoner returns to the cave to share his discovery, but he is no longer used to the darkness and has a hard time seeing the shadows on the wall. The other prisoners think the journey has made him stupid and blind, and violently resist any attempts to free them. Plato introduces this passage as an analogy of what it's like to be a philosopher trying to educate the public. Most people are not just comfortable in their ignorance, but hostile to anyone who points it out. In fact, The real-life Socrates was sentenced to death by the Athenian government for disrupting the social order, and his student Plato spends much of the Republic disparaging Athenian democracy while promoting rule by philosopher kings. With the cave parable, Plato may be arguing that the masses are too stubborn and ignorant to govern themselves. But the allegory has captured imaginations for 2,400 years because it can be read in far more ways. Importantly, the allegory is connected to the theory of forms developed in Plato's other dialogues, which holds that, like the shadows on the wall, things in the physical world are flawed reflections of ideal forms, such as roundness or beauty. In this way, the cave leads to many fundamental questions, including the origin of knowledge, the problem of representation, and the nature of reality itself. For theologians, the ideal forms exist in the mind of a creator. For philosophers of language viewing the forms as linguistic concepts, the theory illustrates the problem of grouping.
समझ में आ गया? So, can you imagine what he is talking about? So, this is his analogy of cave. So, the discussion or the things these people are imagining is what? Illusions, illusory knowledge. The knowledge of figures of shadow is what? Experience, experiential knowledge. And is this real? The knowledge about mathematics is real, that's hypothetical knowledge, but this knowledge of world of ideas is real. In simple terms, Plato finished nearly. Idea of good, yes. Yes, that is why ideas are substances. The world or the reality is made up of ideas. What is the fundamental unit of the reality? Ideas. Therefore, ideas are substances in Plato's theory. Simply. So, if we try to concise Plato, then we can say that Plato reconciled Heraclitus and Parmenides and created dichotomy of world of ideas and world of experience. These two worlds are explained to be related through copy theory, participation theory, expression theory, shadow theory, whatever. Huh? Ideas are this. Now these ideas are arranged in a hierarchy. At the top, idea of good. Ultimate aim is to reach to idea of good. To explain this, he gave what? Cave analogy. How can we know ideas or the idea of good? Through reason or rational insight. For this, he gave theory of knowledge or epistemology. This is also known as theory of divided line. 4 kinds of knowledge. This. This is Plato. So there the question is that Plato gave the idea of good, but is there a idea of bad? No. Plato has not talked about it. Actually, according to him, anything which is not good will be discarded slowly and steadily. It will go out of the system. It will go out.
Stealing is a bad act, but someone who is a thief will try to be good in that act. He will try to
No. This is the dilemma of ethics. This is not a dilemma of theory of ideas. This is definitely a dilemma of ethics. Ethics means, should a thief be a bad thief or a good thief? Ethics. This is an ethical question. So this is Plato's theory of ideas. Let us see some questions, and there are certain small portions like arguments for ideas, proofs for ideas, which we will do directly from our printed notes, because they are not very important. There has never been a direct question, but definitely you can use some of it here and there. An idea of good. So idea of good is the highest knowledge, highest. To simply understand it like nirvana or meditation. So when a rishi does some meditations, they reach some reality, उन्हें सत्य पता चलता है ना? लेकिन अंतिम सत्य क्या है? जो अंतिम सत्य है, it is idea of good. In Indian context हम इसको ऐसे समझ सकते हैं. But according to Plato, idea of good is the highest reality. If we know it, we become idea of good, which means that it is like to know is to be. It's a very deep thought. To know is to be. Means the moment you know what is good, you become good. It is an indescribable state where once you, so it's like you can know tableness, you can know bookness, all of these are very shallow knowledge in that realm. वर्ल्ड के हमारे एक्सपीरियंस वाले वर्ल्ड के लिए तो वो नॉलेज भी बहुत बढ़िया है, लेकिन एक बार आप वर्ल्ड ऑफ आइडियाज में चले गए हैं, जब आपने वर्ल्ड ऑफ आइडियाज को जानना शुरू कर दिया है, तो उसमें भी वन आइडिया will have some relation to the other idea, to the other idea, to the other idea, and at the end, what is the highest apex of knowledge? Idea of good. And the moment you become idea of good, or the moment you know idea of good, you become idea of good itself. This means you have realized your final purpose. You know the reality. It's a continuous process. Yes. So the moment you know idea of good, you become idea of good. And can you describe idea of good? No, it is indescribable. Only the person who reaches there, realizes it, knows it. You and they can talk about it. So that thing which is ultimate reality, or the idea of good of Plato, or Brahm of Shankaracharya, or substance of Spinoza, ये सब हम आगे करेंगे. इन सब की एक कॉमन चीज है कि जो ये सब्सटेंस जिसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, या जो ये आइडिया ऑफ गुड के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, दिस थिंग इज अ काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग विच कैन नॉट बी डिस्क्राइब्ड, बिकॉज we have become accustomed to describing things only in language, and language is limited by senses. Like if I tell you, tell me a color, or imagine a color which you have never seen. Imagine a color which you have never seen. अब देखा ही नहीं है. Can you imagine that? Okay. Tell a blind person from birth, a person who has been blind from birth, you tell him, oh, this is a red rose. He'll say, red matlab? Explain red to him. How will you explain? Tell that blind person what is red. How can you tell it? You say, there is a color. What is color? He has only seen black. Okay, no, it's not black. It's not what you can imagine it. It's something which defines rose. Okay. Oh, it defines rose, means it's the thing which I can touch. Is it a shape? Arey no, it is color. But somebody who has never seen a color, can you explain him color? Similarly, for us, according to Plato, For us who has never seen, who have never been to the world of ideas and specifically to the idea of God, we can never understand what he is talking about. We can only, try to imagine a little bit, थोड़ा थोड़ा समझने की कोशिश कर सकते हैं क्या है, but we can never understand it fully till the time we reach there ourselves, experience it ourselves. ठीक है, थोड़ा सा लिख ले, चलो. Where have we written till last class? What was the last line? Acha, degrees and value. Okay. Next, write a small paragraph. Ideas of Plato exist in transcendental world. Ideas of Plato exist in transcendental world. Bracket में लिख लीजिए. This world is perfect and eternal. Bracket close. Full stop. Ideas are non-sensible. Ideas are non-sensible and can never be known through human perception. Ideas are non-sensible and can never be known through human perception. Full stop. The particulars or objects in this world, particulars and objects in this world are merely copies, oblique shadows, oblique participants of the ideas in the world of ideas. Participants of ideas in the world of ideas. Next heading, dichotomy of existence. Dichotomy of existence, oblique two real theory or two world theory. सब एक ही मतलब है. First point, as a compromise between Heraclitus and Parmenides, Plato has given his metaphysical dualism. Plato has given his metaphysical dualism. Which says that there are two completely different worlds. According to which there are two completely different worlds. Full stop. One world is empirical world, which is constantly in flux. Am I fast? Okay. One world is empirical world, which is constantly in flux, whereas another world or transcendental world is eternal. Another world or transcendental world is eternal, which is the world of ideas. which is the world of ideas. How many of you can complete at this speed? Raise your hands if you can complete at this speed. Rest, you will all have to buckle up, है ना? Don't ruin your handwritings. Of course, it will get a little ruined when you write fast, but you will have to increase your speed by moving your hands fast. You know, be focused. Don't see what the other person is doing to the left and right of you. You know, be only concerned with your copy, focus and then write. In a mission mode, you will be able to write fast. Okay, next point. The world of sense experience is the physical world. The world of sense experience is the physical world. Where we get knowledge, where we get knowledge through senses, through senses. As it is constantly changing, as it is constantly changing, we cannot have rational knowledge about it. As it is constantly changing, we cannot have rational knowledge about it. Full stop. This physical world is located in, this physical world is located in space and time. This physical world is located in space and time. And it is the world of mortal beings. And it is the world of mortal beings. Mortal beings मतलब मरणशील लोगों के की दुनिया. Because everybody who is born here will die. Mortal beings and perishable things. And perishable things. Perishable things. Next point. World of ideas. World of ideas is the eternal, unchanging, non-physical reality. World of ideas is the eternal, comma, unchanging, comma, non-physical reality, which is not located in space and time, which is not located in space and time. Full stop. Plato calls this world, Plato calls this world intelligible, calls this world as intelligible world. Intelligible world. Intelligible matlab we can know it only through thinking and intelligence of reason. Intelligible world. Full stop. This world can only be known through reason. This world can only be known through reason. Full stop. Next para, write note. Note. Plato has favored Parmenides. Plato has favored Parmenides. As Plato favors rational over experience. Plato favors rational over experience. Comma, reason over senses. Reason over senses. Which means Plato has given more reality to the world of forms, which means Plato has given more reality which means Plato has given more reality to the world of forms than to the world of experience. World of experience. Next point. Next point. Plato in his theory of ideas, बार बार theory of ideas पूरा लिखेंगे क्या? Plato in, मतलब अगर लिखना चाहो तो लिख सकते हो, but for the sake of writing fast. Plato in his theory of ideas highlights. Plato in his theory of ideas highlights that practical world of sense observation highlights that practical world of sense observation is changeable and mutable. Practical world कैसा है? Changeable and mutable. As everything is under the influence of, as everything is under the influence of growth and decay. Everything is under the influence of growth and decay. Full stop. Things of this perceptual world, things of this perceptual world exhibit मतलब दिखाना, exhibit varying and contradictory qualities. Varying मतलब बदलती हुई, contradictory means opposite. Varying and contradictory qualities. Example: food which may nourish us today, food which may nourish us today may kill us after a few days. Food which nourishes us today may kill us after some days because of decay. Therefore, we cannot have certain and absolute knowledge. Therefore, we cannot have certain and absolute knowledge of this world. This means there can be no definite knowledge of this world. This means there can be no definite knowledge of this world. There can be no definite knowledge of this world. हम कभी कह सकते हैं सर्टेनिटी से कि खाना अच्छा है या फिर ये मेरा दोस्त है या जो भी. We cannot be certain about things in this world. There is always uncertainty. Next paragraph, within this point only, Plato also highlights that when this world of appearance cannot be the object of knowledge, when this world of appearance किसे बोल रहा है प्लेटो? एक्सपीरियंस वाले वर्ल्ड को, है ना, वर्ल्ड ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस. द वर्ल्ड ऑफ अपीयरेंस क्या था? When this world of appearance, रुको मैं तो खो गई इसमें. हमने लास्ट पॉइंट यहाँ लिखा है. Plato highlights that when this world of appearance cannot be the object of knowledge, when this world of experience or appearance cannot be the object of knowledge, there must be another world. There must be another world which must be independent. Which must be independent of sensual experience. which must be independent of sensual experience. And this world must be apprehensible. This world must be apprehensible. Apprehensible matlab? To apprehend matlab to know. I am just increasing your dictionary. You can also write simply, this world can be known through, but when you write answers, if you use a little, a vocabulary, good vocabulary, so it gives a good impression. The world must be apprehensible or known by apprehensible by or known by reason alone. Therefore, Plato gave his two-realm theory. Therefore, Plato gave his two-realm theory. Next point. In simple terms, there are two worlds. In simple terms, there are two worlds. One world is sensuous, temporary, transient. One world is sensuous, temporary, transient, and mortal. While transcendental world is immutable, immortal, permanent, and non-temporal. Permanent and non-temporal. Immutable, immortal, permanent, and non-temporal. Next point. According to Plato, transcendental world of ideas, according to Plato, transcendental world of ideas are more real, is more real. R नहीं आएगा, is आएगा, is more real. Just as moonlight is derivative of sunlight, just as moonlight is derivative मतलब उससे लेती है, derivative of sunlight. Similarly, world of sense object, world, किसी का छूट जाए तो क्या करेंगे? स्पेस छोड़ देंगे, बाद में नोट करेंगे. Similarly, the world of sense object is derivative of the transcendental world of ideas. Is derivative of transcendental world of ideas. Next point. For Plato, objects of sensory experience, देखो यहाँ पे हम सिंपल ऑब्जेक्ट्स भी लिख सकते थे ना, लेकिन I am giving you words so that it brings more authenticity to the answer. The objects of sensory experience are not real, rather forms and ideas are real. Rather, forms and ideas are real. Full stop. The reality of sensory objects is directly proportional to their being faithful copies, of the transcendental world. there being faithful copies of the transcendental world which consist of ideas. Copies of the transcendental world which consist of ideas. Next point. Plato justifies and established the validity of Plato justifies and establish the validity of transcendental world by highlighting that in practical world if we want to know the meaning of concepts like beauty in the practical world, if we want to know the meaning of concepts like beauty, comma, sweetness, etc., then beauty, sweetness, etc., then we can only point to the certain particular objects, which illustrate these ideas. Full stop. These concepts are only found as examples. These concepts are only found as examples in the actual world. These concepts are only found as examples in actual world. Full stop. Whereas the concepts themselves are found in the world of ideas. Concepts themselves are found in the world of ideas, which is beyond space and time. Example या फिर illustration. We cannot find circularity in the physical world. We cannot find circularity in the physical world, but only find circular things. Therefore, circularity resides in world of ideas and circular things in physical world. हो गया? Last point. बोला था क्या? खत्म हो गया ना वो पॉइंट, समझ में आ गया ना? सर्कुलर थिंग्स कहाँ मिलेंगे? वर्ल्ड ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस. अच्छा, देयरफॉर दे आर फाउंड हेयर एंड हेयर, ऐसा वाला, वो पहले वाला देयरफॉर है. लास्ट पॉइंट. दिस प्लेटोनिक डुअलिज्म मतलब प्लेटो का डुअलिज्म. दिस प्लेटोनिक डुअलिज्म was incorporated into Christianity. And transmitted through generations to our thought. तो प्लेटो ने बनाए थे दो वर्ल्ड. उसके बाद क्रिश्चियनिटी ने क्या कहा? हेवन और अर्थ. हेल्थ का कॉन्सेप्ट बाद में आया है. पहले क्या था? heaven and earth. If you do good deeds, you will go to perfect trees found in, perfect persons are found in. तो वहां से शुरू हुआ था ये कॉन्सेप्ट, क्रिश्चियनिटी ने अडॉप्ट कर लिया. आइडिया ऑफ गुड की जगह पे क्या आ गया? आइडिया ऑफ गॉड. आइडिया ऑफ गुड की जगह आइडिया ऑफ गॉड. Criticism. Very right. If there is greed in this world, there must be a perfect idea of greed. But Plato has not taken these things in consideration. Definitely we will criticize. Anything, every and any doubt of yours is absolutely correct, because that will be the criticism of Plato. And it's us thinking that we have thought about it, but so many philosophers has criticized Plato now, that if you start writing criticism of Plato, it can go till really long. We will do it tomorrow. Tomorrow we will criticize Plato, especially by Aristotle. ठीक है? Next, इस पूरे write up में कहीं पे कोई problem? Simple, easy, understandable. Next heading. How has Plato reconciled? किसी के हाथ में दर्द तो नहीं हो गया? How has Plato reconciled between the two realms or worlds? How has Plato reconciled between two worlds? Plato in his dialogues mentions his two-world theory. Two-world theory. Where transcendental world is real, transcendental world is real and made up of ideas, while the world of things is less real. To explain the relation between two, he has given many theories. To explain the relation between them, he has given many theories. First, copy theory. According to copy theory, sense objects are copies of ideas. Sense objects are copies of ideas. This means, full stop, this means ideas are original models. Ideas are original models or molds. Original models or molds. And things of this world are copies. And things of this world are copies. Next, second, participation theory. Participation theory. Things of this world become real. Things of this world become real only to the extent that they participate in an idea. only to the extent they participate in an idea. Full stop. A thing may participate in many ideas. A thing may participate in many ideas. Example, white table. Example, white table will participate in both whiteness and tableness. Will participate in both whiteness and tableness. Third, expression theory. Expression theory. According to Plato, things are merely the expression of or shadow of shadow of ideas. Next heading, hierarchy of ideas. Hierarchy of ideas and the idea of good. Hierarchy of ideas and the idea of good. First, हाथ में दर्द तो नहीं हुआ किसी के? मतलब होना नहीं चाहिए, है ना? हमें 6 घंटे लिखने की प्रैक्टिस डालनी है, तो ऐसा नहीं कि बीच में ऐसे 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 करने लगो. ठीक है. फर्स्ट, Plato has arranged ideas in a hierarchical order. Plato has arranged ideas in a hierarchical order. Full stop. From the lowest to the highest. From the lowest to the highest. In the transcendental world. In the transcendental world. Full stop. At the apex. Transcendental world. Full stop. At the apex is the idea of good. At the apex is the idea of good, which is the highest idea. Which is the highest idea. Second, according to Plato, ideas are derived out of. According to Plato, ideas are derived out of the idea of good. Ideas are derived out of idea of good. Idea of good. And the world of ideas, is the system, where various ideas, perform their roles, and move towards, the idea of good. Third, Plato in his dialogue Republic, discusses his metaphysics, whereby he says that all forms culminate into, culminate, culminate मतलब culminate into, transform into, culminate into the form of good. All forms culminate into form of good, but only few can understand, but only few can understand the nature of good itself. But only few can understand the nature of good itself. Next point, idea of good is the ultimate reality. Idea of good is the ultimate reality and substratum of universe. Ultimate reality and substratum of universe. Full stop. For Plato, it occupies the same place as, for Plato, it occupies the same place as substance in the philosophy of Spinoza. Substance in the philosophy of Spinoza और ब्रह्म in the philosophy of Shankaracharya. Substance in the philosophy of Spinoza and Brahm in the philosophy of Shankaracharya. ये दोनों हम जब करेंगे तब इस लाइन का रेलेवेंस समझ में आ जाएगा. Next point, idea of good is the summum bonum. What is summum bonum? Highest aim. Summum bonum of your life means what is your highest aim? सबसे ऊपर से ज्यादा क्या सोच सकते हो? What is the highest of the highest aim? वो जो होता है that is the summum bonum of your life. Idea of good is the summum bonum. ब्रैकेट में लिख लो highest aim of human life. Summum bonum of human life. And all creatures of human life and all creatures, comma, even gods aim at the attainment of, even gods aim at the attainment of idea of good. Even gods aim to attainment of idea of good. मतलब गॉड्स तक को भी उसने कहाँ प्लेस कर दिया प्लेटो ने? आइडिया ऑफ गुड के, उसने कहा हाँ भगवान जितने भी होते हैं वो भी सब किसकी तरफ एम कर रहे हैं? आइडिया ऑफ गुड. आइडिया ऑफ गुड से ऊपर कुछ है क्या? ये हाईएस्ट है, इससे ऊपर कुछ नहीं अकॉर्डिंग टू प्लेटो. नेक्स्ट, it is only the extent of participation. It is only the extent of participation in the idea of good. It is only in the extent of participation in the idea of good that makes anything useful or good. That makes anything useful or good. Next point, metaphysically, the idea of good is the cause of the universe. Metaphysically, idea of good is the cause of universe. Full stop. Just as this world of experience is dependent on sun, just as this world of experience is dependent on sun. Similarly, the world of ideas is dependent on the idea of good. Full stop. According to Plato, what sun is to visible realm, what sun is to visible realm, जो status sun का visible realm में है, visible realm, that status is given to the idea of good for, that status is given to the idea of good for intelligible realm. Intelligible realm. या फिर फॉर्म्स कर लो अगर सिंपल लिखना है, मतलब समझ रहे हो, इसको मुश्किल और आसान हम अपने आप कर सकते हैं. If we want to make the language more easy rather than writing intelligible realm, what we will write? Forms, world of ideas, simple. और थोड़ा सा इसको कॉम्प्लेक्स करना है तो वर्ल्ड ऑफ फॉर्म, और करना है तो इंटेलिजिबल वर्ल्ड, और करना है तो ट्रांसेंडेंटल एंड इंटेलिजिबल वर्ल्ड. We can make it according to our requirement. We want to write very simple, we can make it. We want to write a little more, as we will practice. अभी ये सब नया है ना. When you will revise 5, 6, 7 times, ये तो रट जाएगा. फिर क्या लगेगा? How do I improve my answers? Then you will say, the idea of world of ideas तो बहुत बार लिख लिया. Let us write intelligible. Then these terms we, you will search for these terms. Okay. Next, या फिर इसी का continuation में एक लाइन और लिख लो जब लिख ही रहे हो तो. Just as sun is the cause of everything in empirical world, just as sun is the cause of everything in empirical world, and things will die without sun on earth, and things will die without sun on earth. Similarly, form of good. अब देखो मैं idea of good भी लिख सकते हैं हम. हमने क्या लिखा है? Form of good is the source of all forms or ideas. Idea of good is the source of all ideas. या फिर form of good is the source of all forms. Last point. Idea of good is the ultimate reality. Idea of good is the ultimate reality which is indescribable. Idea of good is the ultimate reality which is indescribable. Because it is beyond finite speech and thought. Indescribable because it is beyond finite speech and thought. Full stop. It is beyond senses, comma, language and experience. Senses, comma, language and experience. Therefore, it can best be described as Brahm of Shankaracharya. It can best be described as Brahm of Shankaracharya. ब्रैकेट में लिख लो उपनिषद्स. as neti या फिर not this not this. Not this, not this मतलब रसगुल्ला भी नहीं है, बालूशाही भी नहीं, रसगुल्ला तो सॉरी है, बालूशाही भी नहीं है, लड्डू भी नहीं है, this this है, not this, not this, not this. तो अगर क्वेश्चन आ जाए hierarchy of ideas या फिर idea of good पे, we can write. Understandable? Simple? Okay. Epistemology. Let us complete it today itself. Let us write. थक तो नहीं गए? हाँ? थक गए? तुम लोग जीएस में भी लिखते हो? हाँ? थोड़ा सा लिख लो, चलो थोड़ा थोड़ा. Theory of knowledge. Theory of knowledge or epistemology. Theory of knowledge or epistemology. And tomorrow we will finish Plato now. From next class we will start Aristotle. है ना? Theory of knowledge or epistemology. First point, recollection theory. Recollection theory of knowledge. In his text Republic, Plato pointed out, that ideas cannot be known through perception. And can only be known through recollection. Or reminiscence. Reminiscence मतलब यहाँ पे आ जाओ. एक तो पहले तो Plato's recollection theory after this theory of divided line. देखो आपको है ना बहुत सारा नोट्स हम लोगों ने दे दिए हैं. बहुत सारे मतलब एक्स्ट्रा नहीं बोलेंगे, more than sufficient. This much is also not required, है ना? Generally your class notes will suffice, but if you really want to read, you can go through these printed notes also, just for fulfilling your excitement regarding your optional, and you know satiating your feeling, you know, that consideration कि हम बहुत मेहनत कर रहे हैं. You should feel that. नहीं तो ऐसा लगेगा बताओ हमने मेहनत ही नहीं करी ऑप्शनल पे, सिर्फ क्लास नोट्स पढ़ के चले गए. Problem is psychologically we are trained to read too much. Rather, you know, not trained. We have created a perception that we need to read too much and many books to finally get. But the truth is limited, to the point, and effective notes should be read. So first you will carry your whatever you are going to learn or have a command. First command you will have it on class notes, additional printed notes. फिर जहाँ जहाँ जैसे जाना है तुम लोग कर सकते हो. लेकिन अगर मैंने किसी दिन कोई टेस्ट लिया और मुझे ये जो चीजें हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं इसमें कहीं कोई डाउट मिला या गड़बड़ मिली, then I will not spare you. Okay, fine, continue. Next point. According to Plato, knowledge is already present in the mind According to Plato, knowledge is already present in the mind at birth. Already present in the mind at birth. Full stop. The soul pre-existed in the world of ideas, pre-existed in the world of ideas as it is immortal, as it is immortal. Full stop. In the world of ideas, soul was without a body in a pure blissful, soul was without a body in a pure and blissful, in a pure and blissful contemplation of ideas, in a pure and blissful contemplation of ideas. Full stop. But the soul gets attracted towards the world of senses. But the soul gets attracted towards the world of senses. And it sinks down into a body. And it sinks down into a body. Full stop. As this soul descends, from the world of ideas into the body, all the knowledge it had becomes dull, or dim or forgotten. कुछ भी लिखना चाहते हो. Dim, dull or forgotten. Full stop. Because of its bondage in the body, soul forgets ideas and has only the dimmest and faintest collection, dimmest and faintest मतलब बहुत हल्का blurry, dimmest and faintest collection of this knowledge. Dimmest and faintest collection of this knowledge. Next paragraph. Soul must be reminded about the knowledge it earlier had. Soul must be reminded of its knowledge soul must be reminded of knowledge it earlier had. And aim of soul is to get back. To the world of ideas. Full stop. To gain knowledge. Is the process of recollection. To gain knowledge is the process of recollection. Therefore, all knowledge is recollection for Plato. Therefore, all knowledge is recollection of Plato. Next paragraph. Plato, like his teacher Socrates, Plato, like his teacher Socrates, suggest deliberation and dialogue. Suggest deliberation and dialogue. To help other person recollect the knowledge. Deliberation and dialogue to help other person recollect the knowledge. Therefore, right mode of teaching is right mode of teaching is to ask right questions. Right mode of teaching is to ask right questions and let the students reach to the conclusion by using their reason. Next point लिख लो या paragraph. Next point, things of this world or particulars, only act as a stimulus for recollection of already existing knowledge. Note, Plato believes in immortality of soul. And proves it through doctrine of recollection. Proves it through doctrine of recollection. Second, Plato gave the concept of second point. क्या रह गया? Repeat. अच्छा, पहुंच गए वहां तक? Plato gave the concept of innate knowledge. Which means all learning is actually recollection. This doctrine will be used by Descartes and Leibniz. Later on. Descartes and Leibniz later on. ये जो नहीं, एक छोटा सा और बचा है, लेकिन आज नहीं, कल लिख लेंगे, है ना. जेन्युइन नॉलेज, थ्योरी ऑफ डिवाइडेड लाइन पढ़कर आएंगे आप लोग, है ना. दिस थ्योरी ऑफ डिवाइडेड लाइन वैसे लिखा है इसमें भी, लेकिन हम चाहेंगे कि यहाँ पे बेसिक चीज आपकी ये अपनी कॉपीज में बना के आना है. थ्योरी ऑफ डिवाइडेड लाइन, ये डायग्राम बना लेना है अपनी कॉपी में, है ना. डोंट डू काम चोरी, ऐसा नहीं कि बनाकर नहीं आएंगे. इसके बाद हम बस जरा सा जेन्युइन नॉलेज करेंगे और फिर क्रिटिसिज्म. कल लिखते हैं आराम से, कल क्या करेंगे फिर, बस छोटा सा क्रिटिसिज्म ही तो है, एरिस्टोटल छोटा सा नहीं है, क्रिटिसिज्म करेंगे और एरिस्टोटल का स्टार्टिंग करेंगे, कहानी सुनेंगे बस, और कुछ नहीं करेंगे। ओके, क्वेश्चंस देख लें एक बार। How many of you actually took the initiative of looking at previous year questions? चलो पीछे से देखते हैं। प्लेटो वाले देख लिए, कैसे लग रहे थे, डुएबल, डुएबल, ओके। I'm taking questions, वैसे we can see the questions from 1998, 6 or whatever year you can choose. I am taking it from 2002 because else it's all repetition, and most of the questions are repeated, so that it doesn't make sense to from next time I will do try to bring all the, but this time from 2002 we are looking at. This question we will be able to do after we complete Aristotle. Come at 12th. State and discuss Plato's theory of forms. Can you write? What will you write? Introduction of Plato, theory of forms. What are forms? What are the characteristics of ideas? Then ideas are arranged in hierarchy. At the apex is idea of good, dichotomy of existence, then criticism, which we will do tomorrow. Okay. Plato's recollection theory of knowledge. Theory of divided line we will add, है ना, कल लिखवा दूंगी मैं, अपने नोट्स में ही लिखवा दूंगी, don't worry. Comment on Plato's analogy of cave and its significance in his theory of knowledge. Can we write? केव वाली पूरी एनालॉजी लिखेंगे, उसका सिग्निफिकेंस बताएंगे, डिवाइडेड लाइन से उसको कंपेयर कर देंगे। केव वाला, if you have good handwriting you can, if you have good painting skills or drawing skills you can make cave, it's better. How does Plato relate the world of ideas to the empirical world? Copy theory, participation theory, but directly वो लिखेंगे क्या? पहले क्या लिखेंगे? Introduction Plato, then what is world of ideas, what is empirical world, compare a little contrast between the two, and then how he related it, and then the criticism, which we will do tomorrow with Aristotle. Okay. Explain Plato's ontological theory of form. Is knowledge one of the forms? पहले तो बताओ, Plato's ontological theory of forms में क्या लिखेंगे? कुछ नहीं है, क्या पूछ रहा है क्वेश्चन, क्या है एक्चुअली में? थ्योरी ऑफ आइडिया, सिंपल वही है. इज नॉलेज वन ऑफ द फॉर्म? knowledge form. Highest form is idea of good. Highest knowledge is idea of good. Yes, it is one of the forms. At the apex, idea of, मैंने बताया था ना, to know is to be. ये हमें ज्यादा अच्छा समझ में आएगा शंकराचार्य में, और जब हम शंकराचार्य में समझ जाएंगे तो हम इसको यहाँ पे सेम टू सेम अप्लाई करेंगे. टू नो इज टू बी. द मोमेंट यू नो आइडिया ऑफ गुड, यू बिकम आइडिया ऑफ गुड. सो एपिस्टेमोलॉजी मीन्स टू नो आइडिया ऑफ गुड, मेटाफिजिक्स मीन्स टू बी आइडिया ऑफ गुड. टू नो आइडिया ऑफ गुड, be idea of good. At apex level, they merge together. Knowledge and being merge together. There is no difference between knower and knowable, or knower, known and knowing. कोई फर्क नहीं है, सब एक ही बन जाता है at apex level. लेकिन ये बात कब समझ में आएगी? अभी नहीं समझ में आएगी. ये समझ में आएगी आफ्टर शंकराचार्य, क्योंकि वहां हम इतने डिटेल में करेंगे तो इसको यहाँ पे करने का कोई फायदा नहीं है. Okay. Next, discuss between the knowledge and belief according to Plato. How is it based on his metaphysics? Belief क्या थे? Where are beliefs? In the world of physical things. Knowledge is world of ideas. दोनों कैसे रिलेट करते हैं? ये कोई डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन है क्या? Discuss between knowledge. Knowledge means knowledge of ideas. Belief means physical world based on experience. How is it based on his metaphysics? बताएं. थ्योरी ऑफ डिवाइडेड लाइन को मेटाफिजिक्स से तो जोड़ना है बस. थ्योरी ऑफ डिवाइडेड लाइन वर्ल्ड ऑफ आइडियाज और नीचे वर्ल्ड ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस, उसी चीज को एक्सप्लेन करना है सिंपली. एक्सप्लेन प्लेटोज थ्योरी ऑफ फॉर्म्स. सेम क्वेश्चन रिपीटेड. डज इट एंटेल अ काइंड ऑफ एसेंशियलिज्म? एसेंशियलिज्म वी विल अंडरस्टैंड वंस वी विल मूव फॉरवर्ड टू कंटेम्प्ररी. वहां से समझ में आना स्टार्ट हो जाएगा एसेंशियलिज्म. Does Plato's theory of form explain the change and sensibility of matter? Does it explain the change? Matter जब हम डिकार्ड करेंगे तो वहां से इसकी एसेंस समझ में आ जाएगी. But does Plato accept matter? No. He accepts only ideas, and this world is completely illusory for him. So it will not be acceptable. Okay. In what sense can ideas be both immanent and transcendent? These are two words. Immanent means अभी जो है. Transcendent means दूसरी दुनिया में. Immanent जो यहाँ है, transcendent मतलब जो दूसरी दुनिया में है. Ideas क्या इस दुनिया में भी हैं और दूसरी दुनिया में भी हैं? Ideas are transcendent according to Plato. But when Plato says that things participate in ideas, ये criticism है basically. कल हम criticism करेंगे तब आप इस question को बहुत आसानी से कर लोगे. तो criticism का वेट करते हैं. Is the relation between idea and world as discussed by Plato logically consistent? ये भी criticism है. ये पूरा criticism based questions हैं ये दोनों. What Plato want to prove by his allegory of cave? क्या prove करना चाहता है Plato? Two world theory और metaphysics as well as epistemology. सारी चीजें उसने explain कर दी. He has explained everything through his cave analogy. Okay. There is a red chair. ये बहुत मुश्किल सवाल माना है बच्चों ने, बहुत मुश्किल. How would Plato explain the statement with the use of his theory of forms? Examine. क्या लिखेंगे इसमें? Chairness and redness. Participation theory बताएंगे? How they participate? Hierarchy बताएंगे? Idea of good बताएंगे? अब तो यही तो बताना था. बस उन्होंने उसको एग्जाम्पल में पुट कर दिया, इसलिए जो रट के गए थे उनके लिए मुश्किल हो गया. बहुत सारे बच्चे रट भी जाते हैं फिलोसफी में क्योंकि क्वेश्चंस रिपीटेड आते हैं. हाँ, यस. ओके, सो दीज आर दी क्वेश्चंस. टुमारो वी विल क्रिटिसाइज प्लेटो. ओके, बाय बाय. ठीक है.